right, so welcome back everyone. And as you saw earlier, we're looking at how we test our pH, and we saw how our blueberry was a little bit towards the neutral side, and we want our blueberry plant to be more acidic. And so we're gonna amend our soil.
That's right.
So that we can get the pH of the blueberry at the level that it needs.
Right, Sharice, as a reminder, you know, we looked at the scripture. Let's look at it one more time.
Okay.
And that, if we look at our slide, it's Matthew 13, verse 8. We're talking about today adjusting the pH because we want good ground.
Right.
And the Lord tells us, but again, talking about the seed, fell into good ground and brought forth fruit, some 100, some 60, and some 30-fold. And we want to make sure that we have an abundance of a harvest.
Right.
And so we want good ground.
That's right.
That's why we're talking about pH.
So the pH range given at which the plant need will make the plant produce to its fullest potential.
That's right.
And with that in mind, we were supposed to look at kale, but we didn't quite get to it. So we're going to show you the pH of our kale and to see if we need to amend it or not. So you go ahead and use that tester there, and I'm going to, since I have my sample here, just going to put some in this container because we want to see which one is most accurate.
We want to compare between
the testers, because you have so many different testers out there. But do they all give the same reading is the question. So here I have a rapid test and you have a digital test over there. With the rapid test, it takes a little more work. Again, you collect sample from 3 different locations. You're going to put it in your tester, fill to the soil line, and then you're going to add water. And just a reminder, you do not want to add distilled water. You can add tap water. Or if you have a well, you can use your well water. So we're going to put our liquid or water into this test, and then we're going to put the pH capsule in it. Very important. Put the green capsule for the pH test. All right.
And for the electric or the digital, we're going to put it in and then we're going to wait. And this one here is about 6.3, so it's slightly acidic. It's even dropping a little more. It's saying now 6.0. So as you wait, you can see what the reading is. It'll give you the actual pH. And what does it look like on yours here?
Here it's telling me that it's slightly acidic. It's not neutral, but it's about a 6.5 on this pH tester here.
Let's see if they can see that color.
I don't know if they'll be able to see the color. But if you look at it from the back, you'll see that it's slightly acidic.
Oh yeah, do that again. I was able to see the color.
This is a good range for our kale because kale needs a pH of 6.0 to 7.5. And we don't really have to add anything to this kale. But if we wanted to get our pH a little higher, closer to 7, what can we use for our kale plant?
Well, what we could use is lime.
Okay.
Lime in dolomite or Celtic lime would increase or neutralize the soil.
Okay.
You can also, what else can you use? You can use hydrated lime.
Right.
Now, we have to be careful when we're using hydrated lime. Although it does work faster, it will burn the roots. So this is something that you want to do to prepare the soil.
Right. So if you're getting ready to plant some neutral loving plants or alkaline plants, you want to prepare your soil ahead of time and get the pH going so that when you're planting, it will already be available and it would not be so concentrated as to burn the roots. If you use citrus fruits, citrus neutralizes our pH in our bodies. It makes us more alkaline. And it's the same concept with the soil. You can add your lemon peel or your orange peel into the soil, and over time, those will decompose and increase the alkalinity. Now, it's much easier. Let me ask you, is it easier to increase the alkalinity of the soil or to lower it?
It'll probably be easier to increase it, although both of them do take time. And so it's a natural process.
Okay.
And so it will take time to do both.
Okay.
So today what we're going to do is we're going to show how to amend, how to adjust the pH.
Okay.
And the kale, we saw in your test, it gave us a...
Now it's closer to, now it's looking a little green. Once it's been sitting for a while, now it's looking more, a little neutral.
As we mix it in with the soil though, let's see what we get. Because I'm getting a acidic reading. I'm getting a 5.7.
5.7 over there.
Yeah, so it looks acid, very acidic. Not very acidic, but acid. Acidic.
And then here it's telling that it's a little more neutral.
And that one looks like it's close to 7.
Mm-hmm.
So as you can see,
the tests vary.
This is something that you want to get a second opinion for. So you may have to keep probing it and seeing different pots or spots on the pot. See here we have, it's going down to 6.4 on your, now it's 6.1. So it's dropping. And so this tells me that it is slightly acidic. So it's right in between the range though, because the kale wants it to be at around the range of 6 to about 7, 7.5.
Now if we want to raise this pH by about a 1 or 0.5, two things you can do with the lime. You can get powdered lime, you can sprinkle it on top, and it will gradually work its way down into the soil and over time increasing the alkalinity. Or you can mix it in for faster effect, and your plants will be able to get an alkaline environment in that way.
Yes.
And of course, we want to make sure that it's right in range so that we can get the most out of our kale
so
plants.
in this case, I probably won't want to add, if I do want to increase the alkalinity, I won't want to increase it too much.
Right.
Maybe adding a little bit of Celtic lime would be the way that I would go with this one.
And those are your lime, your Celtic lime, your Dolomite lime. Those are available at your garden center.
Yes.
Or even at, you know, wherever you can, your nursery, you can find
anywhere they
there.
sell products for the garden, you can probably find.
You probably find those, and they're fairly inexpensive. Now let's look back. We did our strawberry. We did our strawberry fall in the range that we wanted it to fall.
Which one? Say that again?
Strawberry.
The strawberries actually did. If we remember, they were slightly acidic.
Okay.
So they fell right into the range where we wanted it.
Okay.
But then you made a mention of the blueberries. And what was the result?
Well, the blueberries was close to neutral, and blueberries are acid-loving plants. So we're going to want to adjust the pH for our blueberries.
Let's do that.
All right. And so if we want to create an acidic environment, what would we add to our soil?
All right, so just a reminder, let's get a good spot here.
All right.
All right. So the blueberry wants very acidic. The range, this is an acid-loving shrub.
4.5 to 5.5.
Right, as we see in our slides here, it is between 4.5 and 5.5 in our pH range. And what was the reading? Let's test it again with our digital reading, because that one is quicker.
Okay.
What is the reading we get there?
Okay, it's moving. Give it about a few seconds.
So it shot down to 6.2, and now it's shooting down to 6.0.
So it's at 6.0.
And it looks like it's staying there. So you're at 6, and this is
it's
somewhat acidic.
What it needs to be, though.
You want to bring this down. So the things that you can add to bring the acidity down, you can add compost. You can, the decomposing wood chips will also bring down the acidity. That's why it's recommended for you to mulch the blueberry. Go ahead.
And you have high acid mulch, which are your pine needles. Those take a longer time, but as these elements break down, they will create that acidic environment that the plant needs. And also your peat moss will increase the acidity as well. But today, something that works a little, because those take how long will it take for it to decompose and increase the acidity of the soil?
Well, this is going to take a longer time. So what I would recommend, even if you could get some sulfur.
Right.
Sulfur. And the one that we have here, this is from your elemental sulfur. This is what is recommended for your organic garden.
Okay.
You want to get some elemental sulfur. And so this acts naturally also, but it acts a little bit quicker. It still takes time. It's all gradual. Anything that produces a quick result,
effect. It's not good.
It's not going to be something that is going to be the best choice. For example, can you give me an example?
Well, we look at, there is something that's being used commercially very much. It's aluminum sulfate. And that's the fastest acting way to be able to decrease your acidity. And it's not recommended, because if used in large quantity, you can have aluminum accumulation in the soil and aluminum toxicity in your plants. And then in turn, eating that fruit from that plant will put that metal in your body, and we don't want that element in our bodies. And another thing is, if the pH is decreased too fast, then the manganese may become toxic. You may have toxic level of manganese in your soil, and again, that could not only affect your plants, but for your health. So try to stay away from the fast way of reducing soil pH, and just do it at a slower rate.
Now this right here, the sulfur is way too much. You only need about maybe a tablespoon of sulfur.
Right.
So
for this size container.
So I'm going to pour this back, and I'm going to use a spoon. I'm going to measure how much I'm going to use.
So you need 0.2 pounds for a 10 square foot garden spot. So you don't need a lot of sulfur. Again, if you use too much, you will burn your roots. But as well, also you want to add it so that your plant's roots will be able to take up the nutrients that it needs. So we're just going to use a tablespoon for this one. And we're going to mix it in. We're going to move away the wood chip slightly.
Okay, so what I did was I used the spoon, and I got about a teaspoon into this cup right here. And so what I'm going to also do is I want to put some peat moss also on that.
Okay.
So as Sharice is moving the wood chips,
do you need a spoon?
I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle it lightly. Into the dirt. And now that's why I have my gloves on. I'm not going to put my wood chips quite back just yet, because I also want to put some peat moss
on there
into it. And peat moss also, as I work it into the soil, will increase the acidity.
So these are things that you can purchase in any form. You can also, they sell soil acidifier that are organic too, that you can purchase to lower the acidity of your soil. And so you'll get happier plants, since they will be able to take up the nutrients that they need to be productive, to be lush, and to be fruitful.
So I'm just adding a little bit at a time, because I don't need that much sulfur. You don't need that much sulfur. It will start reacting. And another thing is that the microbes in your soil, when they start breaking up the organic matter, they also
create that acidic environment.
Yes.
So your worm casting too would be something that's good for acidifying plants.
So compost, anything that is adding microbes to my soil.
And they also in turn need that slightly acidic environment to thrive. So within the top 6 inches, that's where a majority of your plant life is. So creating that good environment will cause your microbes to be able to flourish, and in turn they will feed your plants.
So I'm putting this peat moss now around the root here, and I'm working it in slightly, being careful not to damage any roots. And this will take time. This is not something that you can do and tomorrow the pH will decrease.
And that's why a lot of farmers, they use the aluminum sulfate because as soon as it
Right.
dissolves in the soil, it lowers the pH. It makes it more acidic.
And so we have to
that's
be
not
careful
something
with
that
that
we want.
because we don't want the aluminum toxicity.
Right. So we have to be careful too, the sources that we get our food from, because you know we don't know what people are doing. It takes a lot of trust to be able to go to the supermarket and to purchase food. But if you are able to go in your backyard, harvest these things, and bring it to your table, then you know what's in it. You know because you put it there, right? And
Right.
that's why we need to create that good ground
That's
so
right.
that we can have a productive harvest.
Because you want to make sure that whatever you're growing, as you're adjusting the pH, the plant will be able to absorb the nutrients, it will be strong,
Right.
and then it will also in turn feed you the
Right.
nutrients you need.
All right. And there you have it, everyone. Happy planting.
Happy planting.